Hello YouTube, it's your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be doing a retro album review for the classic, absolute banger, Take Care by Drake, one of the most iconic rap albums ever, widely regarded as Drake's best album. This is his sophomore studio album, and let's get this off our chest real quick. It's safe to say he didn't suffer the sophomore slump. There's two bonus tracks and interludes sprinkled throughout. We're not going to talk about the bonus tracks, although you know The Motto and Hate Sleeping Alone are amazing songs. I don't think I'm going to talk about them in this video just for time constraints. I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long, but just know, and if you haven't heard those, go listen to them. Those are amazing tracks on the LP. This is just such an iconic and such a vintage Drake album. This album represents his sound the best, I think. And I've really started to respect Drake's catalog over the years, and this album is one of the reasons why. You go back to this album, and every time you listen to this album, there's songs you take from it, and new songs you take in pretty much. And it's like, oh, I didn't appreciate that as much as before. There's a lot of those, and Drake has such a great catalog, and his old music is still very underrated to this day. I mean, people are going to talk about his collabs with 21 Savage, and obviously the new generation of music fans are coming in. Man, Drake is an icon. There's no doubt about it. You can hate on him for being popular and mainstream, but he is iconic. He's one of the best rappers of all time. He's top 15 at least. There's no way you place him out of your top 15. That's not possible. So, on that note, we'll go track by track, and then I'll kind of give you guys a bit of a review at the end. So, track number 1 is Over My Dead Body. This song, it's a great introspective opener to the album. He's flexing on the haters. He's bathing in the success of, his mixtapes. Because remember, Take Care isn't his first, huge commercial album. He dropped, Thank Me Later. And, Thank Me Later. And So Far Gone. Sorry, I wasn't thinking of it. But I love the screw sample, the amazing vocals from Chantel. I don't remember her last name, but she did amazing on this song. This song's awesome. What a way to open the album. The lyrics are so great. And yeah, this is some of his best rapping, obviously, just this album in general. So yeah. Track 2 is Shot For Me, and this is kind of like that mixtape love song Drake, that lovey-dovey classic Drake that we got a couple years prior to this album. And there's going to be songs on this album that'll bring up that kind of mimic that era. This is pretty much a song for his exes, and that's a very common thing on this album. The Weeknd helped write this song. It makes sense, and The Weeknd has his hand in a lot of this album. And The Weeknd doesn't get enough credit for, not propelling Drake's career, but really pushing it in the direction that it went, A lot more introspection, a lot better vocals, better lyrics. The Weeknd was a big part of early Drake, let me tell you. Being romantic and egocentric at the same time is something he kind of balances on this song. Again, the Weeknd inspiration is just sprinkled throughout this album, and he does a great job with his contributions to this album. Then we have track 3, which is Headlines. One of the best rap songs on the album. Another very iconic song on the album. He's trying to send a message to his haters. Obviously, there's quite a bit of braggadocio on this album, despite it being more of a mellowed out R&B album. But this is one of the most true to Drake records, It's like a No Friends in the Industry we've gotten recently. A lot of the stuff on If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. That's stuff that Drake really likes to do. Obviously, he's acknowledging his success on Headlines. He's realizing the gratitude of his music, how big he is, the weight of his lyrics, the weight of his songs, how he affects people, and this is a song I'll be playing for years to come. This will never get old for me. I think it's not gonna wear out until the end of time. So yeah, great song with Headlines. Track 4 is Crew Love, and it features the first feature on the album, which is The Weeknd. I love this vibe from Drake. This is one of the coolest vibes on the entire album. Kind of an ode to their teams. A melodic banger we have here. This is a great song. This was originally supposed to be Abel's song, The Weeknd song, but Drake decided to take it over. He liked the way it sounded. He liked the pocket that he was getting in on this, and yeah, a lot of these were probably The Weeknd songs originally, I would say. Just shouting out everyone who supports them. That's really the whole MO of this song. I love the bass, the bam, bam, bam. It's punching. It's so unique. It's something you don't hear in R&B all that much. The Weeknd's vocals are amazing. All the vocal effects, all the layering. It's so beautiful. Very underrated verse from Drake as well. I mean, obviously, the highlight of this track is obviously going to be like the Weeknd's stuff and his involvement, but man, Drake put so much into this. So yeah, great song. Track 5 is Take Care featuring Rihanna. A really cool dancehall vibe, and dancehall is obviously a genre Drake recently dropped a whole album based on, and he's also, kind of sprinkled it throughout his discography. He pretty much copied this song from Jamie XX, Gil Scott-Heron, and Brooke Benton. There's a lot of inspiration from those guys. He literally kind of like took their song. Doesn't really take away from him and Rihanna's early chemistry. I mean, from early on in their careers, these two connected in the music industry, and they've been making great music ever since. This is the start of a long relationship between the two. A lot of controversies, a lot of news coverage on these two, and this is one of the first instances of them being kind of like seen connected with each other. Then we get to track 6, which is Marvin's Room, pretty much the original sad boy anthem, like, the In Your Feeling song. This is really, it's really one of the original ones. This is kind of a Marvin Gaye reference. If you didn't know, Marvin's Room is where he shot the song. That's the inspiration for the title. He's drunk in this song, trying to rekindle a relationship with an ex. Again, talking about exes. One of his most recognizable and iconic songs ever. There are so many of Drake's best songs on this album. This album hardly has any misses. Not a bad song. It's fucking damn near flawless. And this song has obviously inspired artists in the next generations. And the outro is kind of funny because it's like the white girl saying the N-word. He's like, I hope you didn't hear that, because if they did, we gonna be in some trouble. I don't know why that's been memed many times, and I think it's a pretty funny moment on the record. So yeah. And then you get into the Buried Alive interlude. This is pretty much just Kendrick Lamar's track. There's no involvement from Drake. Drake just wanted to put Kendrick on here because at the time, Kendrick wasn't that big of an artist. He was, but he wasn't really that mainstream. This is Kendrick. It's awesome. It's really cool that Kendrick Lamar's on a Drake record. Kendrick talking about his rise to fame and how it affected him. His former self kind of died with his fame, and there's just classic lyricism, a lot of good flows, a lot of good cadences, good rapping, good stuff there for Kendrick. Track 7 is Underground Kings. This is a song mainly paying homage to the late Pimp C, rest in peace. Underground Kings, UGK was his group with Bun B, if you didn't know. That's why the song's called Underground Kings. Pretty motivational song, really pumps you up. So much confidence and passion on this track. I really like what Drake did. There's really not that much to say about this song. It's just really awesome. Love the beat, the guitars, drums, his rapping. Got rich off a mixtape. There's so many catchy flows on this, and Drake just takes a completely different direction, and I love it. Track number 9 is We'll Be Fine with Birdman on the outro. Shout out to Birdman. He helped create the talent like Weezy and Drake and all the Cash Money Records, guys like Juveniles, and there's not that much to say. It's just a vibe. It's just a good song. The flows are great. This is kind of like a party song almost. Something to drink to. It's Drake. This is a victory lap type of album for Drake. He really entered the mainstream. He entered superstardom. Everyone knows his name now, and it's crazy. So he made an album pretty much to commemorate that on a lot of these songs anyway. Then we get Make Me Proud with Nicki Minaj. Awesome song. This is more of like a mixtape era song. I feel like he probably even made this song during that time. It's kind of like a love note on here. We're not really sure. No one's ever really sure what he's talking about on this record. It could be about Nicki, but it's kind of crazy that he'd talk about Nicki, given she's on the track. And Nicki Minaj flexing how she's like one of the best artists, or definitely the best female rapper. There's lots of controversy around this song. They were possibly in a relationship. This is why Drake gets women. And really, the songs like this is why Drake pulls so many women. He's really talking to these girls. A vintage Nicki verse. Old Nicki was absolutely amazing as well. And I don't think Nicki Minaj is one of my favorite artists out there. But verses like this and her Pink Friday stuff, oh my god, it was amazing. It was such a good time to be a music fan. So yeah, there's that. The next track is Lord Knows, and it has Rick Ross. This is a classic hoop mixtape song. Classic. You see it everywhere. Vintage Drake rapping on this. Again, I use the word vintage. It's been tossed around all video. But that's really how you describe this album. It's just that classic Drake sound. Just Blaze absolutely killed this beat. Another very inspirational kind of Underground Kings-esque song. This is one of my favorite songs on the album for sure. I love the rapping. I love it all. Love the hook, all that stuff. I mean, they're really talking their shit on here. Rick Ross, I mean, showing why he's one of the most underrated rappers probably of all time. I mean, he's had some great run-ins with some of the best artists of all time. It's crazy how hard-hitting this is compared to the rest of the album. There's a couple of pretty hype songs, but mostly this album is pretty mellow, so it's interesting to get a song like this almost abruptly after Make Me Proud, honestly. And then we get Cameras, Good Ones Go interlude. I think John B's listed as... Okay, no, John B kind of had like a sample on Cameras. Cameras is fucking sick. I mean, both parts of the song are good. It's a good song. Not a whole lot to say. I mean, Good Ones Go has Weeknd vocals and is about Drake trying to get an ex to wait on him. Again, another kind of Abel-inspired part of the album. Cameras, though, is just a really catchy song on this record, too. So I got to give credit where credit is due. Cameras and Good Ones Go is probably one of the more underrated songs. And we'll get to a couple of underrated songs on the last stretch. But yeah, pretty solid two-part song there. Next, we got Doing It Wrong. It's a very recognizable song of his, often memed, often talked about, often heard on like TikTok, Vine, all of those social media platforms over the years. It's kind of like his In His Feelings ballad. You know, he has to leave this girl and he doesn't want to stay behind because he feels like that's the wrong thing to do. I like the cool interpolation on this song as well as the Stevie Wonder harmonica, which we saw a couple weeks ago. Travis on Astroworld. That's not when the album released, but that's when I did my review. Travis kind of took off of that. Very catchy song. One of the slower tempo songs on here. There's plenty of those, but this is definitely up there. Next we have The Real Her. We have Andre 3000 and Lil Wayne, and man oh man, what a lineup for this song. You know, it's an insane trio. Andre 3000, Drake, and Lil Wayne. Wow. I mean, this song kind of talks about how a stripper can take care of herself, you know, kind of praising her for being independent. And you hear that on TSU off of... there's a lot of stripper songs on Drake records. Like, that's really all he talks about in terms of, like, specific girls, you know. It's crazy. I mean, all of his albums have that. Not a song I listen to much, but still great. I mean, the beat is sick, how it, like, slows down and then picks back up. It, like, stops. And Andre 3K stole the show. I mean, his flows, his lyrics were absolutely insane on this song. So, yeah, shout out to 3 Stacks for giving us a quality feature on the album. Next is Look What You've Done, and this is... I mean, this could have possibly been an intro track on the album. It's kind of the vibes it gives off. He opens his tour shows with this. As you guys know, he's been on the It's All a Blur tour. And actually, the reason I'm making this video is because he's planning to drop For All the Dogs here in a week or two, probably. Hopefully this month, and I'm kind of hyping that up. We'll do a Trippie Redd thing tomorrow, but now we got to focus on Drake. It's a very touching tribute to his family, this song. It's one of the most heartfelt songs on the entire album. Amazing moment here with this. And, you know, he's brought his mom to stage with this song. It's awesome. It's very low-key compared to other tracks, but the message is just so pure, so genuine, and it's great. HYFR, Hell Yeah Fucking Right, of course, we have to talk about this song. And obviously, like, a song like The Motto isn't going to make the video with Lil Wayne, but the song is Lil Wayne, we can talk about this. It's obviously one of the most hyped songs on the album. You know, he mentions exes and how, like, Tupac songs have taught him lessons, and all my exes live in Texas like the George Strait, you know. Classic Wayne as well. Lil Wayne really tapped in on this one. Do you love this shit? Are you high right now? It's a fucking awesome song. You know, this beat, the production is pretty much Houston inspired, if you've noticed. Not much conceptually, it's just a fun song to listen to. I mean, there's really not much to say about this one. The second to last track is Practice. I don't remember if this had the I think the last song. One of them had The Weeknd kind of featured on it. No, Practice didn't. Practice is like a Cash Money homage on the record. It's another kind of love song. Not a song I revisit super often, I'm going to be honest. It's not a bad track, it's just there's not a whole lot for me to say about this song. Closing out the original record, by the way, we're not going to get into the deluxe bonus tracks. We have The Ride. It kind of reminds you of that song of Kendrick Lamar's Damn that kind of goes through different stages of the respective artists' careers and how they've handled fame. It's kind of got that sort of concept to it. I love the beat though. The Ride is an amazing beat, one of the most legendary beats I've heard in the 2010s probably. One of the Weeknd and Drake's best collabs as well. It's simple, but it does more than the trick, and it's crazy how the Weeknd Abel hit those notes. I mean, wow, his vocal performance was amazing on that song. So, shout out to the Weeknd, and yeah, let's get to our review. So, kind of closing off my thoughts on this album. Obviously the common theme of wanting to get back with your ex, and the Weeknd being crazy with the involvement on this album. I mean, yeah, it's almost perfect. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this album, I'm going to be honest with you. The album kind of speaks for itself. Do I really have to say more? I mean, this is super iconic from Drake. This is an album that'll never get old. It'll never wear out. It's got some of the best replay value of any hip-hop album. Like, I'm being serious. I don't often, dick suck and dick ride Drake on this channel, and I'm not all over him like that. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not Los Pollos, but man, this album had the hip hop game in a damn chokehold. Like at the time, who was topping this? I mean, yeah, Kendrick Lamar was dropping some music. Kanye kind of had his experimental era, all those things. But I think we're going to talk about a couple other Drake albums. I definitely want to. I mean, this is probably realistically my favorite Drake album. I really like I don't know why, but I like More Life a lot, but this is definitely my favorite. My next favorite is Nothing Was the Same, so I think we could revisit that next week. That's an album I'm super excited to re-listen to because just classic on top of classics on that album. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say. A stream is supposedly, I planned it. Like, we're not rumoring. It's coming here in about 15 minutes after I'm done with this video, so probably 7 o'clock. It'll probably be after you guys watch this video. I'll probably be streaming, so we'll try to stream for a couple hours, probably 4 hours ish. Like, I got work tomorrow, but after that we have 2 days off, so that's really cool. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. Hopefully you guys like this review format. If you don't, it is what it is, and my dog's making noises as we close the video. Peace out.